a sharp vertical vinyl record player from the early 80s, an Optonica RP-114. This one needs some servicing by the looks of it. It's not got a plug on the end. It's pretty dirty. You can get the instructions for how to operate it online quite easily. It's quite lightweight, obviously meant to be semi-transportable for someone to carry it around from room to room or to their friend's house. It's one that plays both sides. You put the record in, it plays both sides, and it's got some features about skipping tracks and everything, so that's interesting. Now, this is going to need servicing, definitely. Without a plug, it's obviously maybe doesn't work. Looking on the back, we'll just turn it round. There's a voltage selector down here, so it can run on 110 or 240. It's pretty dirty. And in here, you can only release the front when the power's on, or you can press in here, and the front flips open. So we can look inside. Now they're being both sides now. It's got two stylus cartridges. One's down there, and the other one's down there for the other side. Linear tracking, of course. These just move across on drive on the drive shaft sort of thing, pulled across. The record goes in here. Now I'm pretty sure that this spins around quite easily. The belts come off that drives this round, so we have to put a new belt on it. And this is just a pressure thing. Very dirty, as I say. You can clean it up, and hopefully it's going to work. Sound quality won't be great. I wouldn't have thought. Able to cut the costs a lot, having to put two cartridges in the thing as well as everything else. But it probably will work. So just take the back off, look inside, see how to replace the belt, and we'll take everything else off and clean it up. Taking the back off to look inside. Big circuit board with all the logic on it and everything. Some adjustment pots. This main adjustment pot here is for the sensitivity of the Optonica system, which enables it to find tracks, so that is adjustable. Anyway, the belt, here's the main flywheel, the drive motor here for it. The belt's missing. Looking inside, we find the remains of the belt down here, and it seems to have disintegrated and gone all gooey. Anyway, a couple of other belts in here, one on this side, that's alright, that drives this tracking system here, which moves the arm along. Here is the arm in here is, you can see it just moving the pickups down there and the balance weight here. And this little mechanism here is the tracking position as it moves. I think there's some sensors in there, probably a light, which as this moves in determines whether it needs to, which way this needs to move. There'll be one on, obviously, on the other side for the other pickup, exactly the same. Anyway, to get this off, we'll have to take this off, undo this, so we can get the belt back on there. Everything else in here looks pretty clean actually, and not seized up. Even this grease looks alright on there. Lots of little relays and that. So just take this off, get a belt, put it on, and just check it out. I think it's going to work. Hopefully the needles are okay on these stylus. Well, you can still get the replacement belt on eBay cheaply. So cut a few tie wraps off so you can pull out the plugs. just briefly. Undo these two screws, top and bottom, under there, and just move the unit away so that the so you can get the belt over here. So I'm just going to put clean this, of course, with a bit of cleaner, and you can put the belt round and back onto the motor. Put the screws back in, remembering to put the earth straps on. There's one at the top and there's an earth strap at the bottom here as well. If you didn't before, it's best to take a photo of any boards that you take all the connectors off of, in case you forget where they go back on, because there are some extra points on this board which don't have any connectors on. You might plug it into the wrong one. And also, if you've got any, you can put some new tie wraps on, and just to pull up the wires nice and tight like they were originally. Now I put the belt onto the turntable, and before I put it on the motor, just check by spinning it that the bearings are nice and free and haven't got to have any work done. And then I'll just show you using a piece of paper how you can pull that onto the motor. Also check the motor's running nice and free. Just put a bit of paper underneath the belt so that you can hold it like this, and then you just you can pull it out and pop it behind the motor, and then that once that's running straight, that'll be fine. So it's a matter now. I'll have a look at the linear tracking inside here. Might as well, before you switch it on, make sure it's clean. This one's pretty clean here. Nothing's fallen off. All this is nice, and the grease is still slippery, which is good, not dried up. And before we turn it on, might as well check everything out first. To get to the front workings, there's just two screws inside at the top, and you just undo them, and then you pull it. It sticks on this rubber, so you pull it quite hard, and then the front part folds down like that. While it's down, you can just clean off any dust. Look at the inside. This seems fine. The grease is fine. The carriage wire is fine. Nothing's fallen off. There's the counterweight and spring for the pickup, and the tracking sensors there. Everything seems to be free, so I'm sure that's gonna work fine. Before we play records, one more thing we should check is the stylus. There's two of them. Make sure they're okay. In the instructions, it's very clear how you clean and replace the stylus if you want to. Anyway, I plugged it in, turn it on, and then to move these in, you've got a move in and out button. So press this button, you can see the cartridge moving in, and also this one has moved. If I just press it that way, press it this way, and then you turn the power off so it doesn't go back, and then you can have a look at them. You can look at the obviously look at the stylus, and if necessary we can take it. We'll take them out and look at them under a magnifying glass, or even hopefully they won't need replacing. They still look okay. I can see that they've still got tip on them. There's no adjustment for the playing weight, so one assumes that it's set correctly. I've connected it up to the hi-fi, and so now to try a record. Normally you'd have two hands to pick up a record. Unfortunately I've got the camera in one, so I'm going to have to pick up this other record with my fingers, which I'd never normally do. Put it in there. Now as it closes, the it pushes that in, and then there's a spindle goes in the middle. So I don't know if you can't really see it, so we close it up. It's turned on, so all we need to do now is press play. We can have a look in the back. Press play. It's going round. Okay, got music. So it's going through these VU meters, so I can tell the level, and the level's good, where they would normally be. Left and right channels are working. So just a matter of trying some of the controls. Q, that should lift it up. Forward, you can see it going in. Let's cue it down. So all we need to do now is play the other side. Side A, B. I think it goes back to the beginning and restarts on side B. I'm up on the light. Got the music. Aha. Got nothing on one channel there. Let's just try the other side again. To make sure that it's not our connection. Now we've got both outputs working, so let's try side B again. No, let's cue it up and move side B. I assume it moves, if you press that, it moves in. The other one will be moving in. Let's cue it down on another track. No, I've only got one channel. It's a quiet track at the moment, so. So it looks like there is slight movement, so I'm going to have to look at the connections to the cartridge, and hopefully it's not going to be faulty, because everything else seems to be working fine. It's got repeat and speed and everything. Speed it up. Yeah, the speed works. It's got a cut, I assume that means stop. Let's press it. It's going back. The AB side switch. Yeah, switches. Both sides repeat. Let's press that. Light comes on. Play, keep repeating. Yep. Take both sides off so you can repeat one side, or that's repeat A, repeat B, both sides repeat. So all everything's working except the output from the B on the right channel. So I'll look into that now. I can see that the signals from the cartridges go through this relay which switches from one cartridge to the other. Now, I've seen and had problems with these relays on other boards. It's exactly the same one. It doesn't like having no current flowing through it. If it's just signal switching, so there's no DC current. After a while I get bad contacts on the changeovers. They're very small contacts, they're quite difficult to clean, especially when it's in the circuit. You can pop this plastic lid off and try and put some very fine paper in to clean the contacts. I'm pretty sure that's what it would be. It's a 12-volt changeover relay, virtually impossible to buy. I think in US you might still get it. But I'm going to try and clean it anyway, because I'm pretty sure that's why the signal's not getting through on one of the contacts. Well, it was the relay. I cleaned the relay contacts with a bit of this very fine 2000 grit. Cut a very small strip so that you can insert it underneath the contact. The one at the front is the changeover, and you just rub it that way, and then you put it up the other way, and you can just rub it on the contact on the bottom. So now when it changes over, you've now got a signal on both channels, playing side B, and of course you have to pop off the cover of the relay. Just get a scalpel just under the edge, and it's just caught on the edge, and you just pop it off. I had to move the connectors out of the way as well, obviously. So it's working. I'll just show you, it's playing side B at the moment. There's the one that wasn't working, and we can change it to side A. Goes back to the start. So we've got both. And then if we change to side B, see it change on the, press side B, you can see the activates it down. Before we didn't have a right channel, we've got both channels now. I don't know if you can see the relay operating when I press this. You see it drop out. Let's just find which is the right contact to press. This one. It's just a changeover for the signal. Press in. Yeah, see it drop out. Then if I press, once it's started, I'll press it again now to change the B. And it operates. The contacts that were open for years had corroded. So that's screw the back on. I've been cleaning it up, it's come up really nice, and it'll be finished. It's finished, I've cleaned it, it's come up pretty well, just a couple of small scuff marks. The front's really nice, the back's cleaned up okay, all the brown marks have gone. I've even cleaned the cables here, which were all filthy. They're pretty clean now. Everything's working great. You open it up, and let's just put on a record. Some more ABBA. Just put it in there, close it up, and press play, which will play side A first. Pretty good sound actually, pretty punchy sound. I'll just turn it down a bit. Yeah, nice punchy sound. I've listened to the record through. There's no problems with the bass. I put heavy bass record onto and tracked nearly well. And all the controls work as I demonstrated before. You can play side B. Let's turn it up. Very nice punchy sound, all the both channels working really well. The APS system works, I believe. If you press that, it goes to the next track, or should do. Just plays the end of the previous track and then it plays the next track. So that's quite clever. If you want to play the next track, you just press A. Works out where it is. There is a sensitivity control on the back if it doesn't quite do it right. Took a while, but it does do it. So it works like a dream. You can play the whole record, as I said before, and repeat both sides. So, it's quite nice actually. It sounds much better than I expected it to. Turn this down. Sound quality is pretty good. I mean, a lot of people say it's rubbish, but I mean, I think it's okay. Now I've got it working. It was cheap to buy, and I think someone who likes to get into vinyl, I wouldn't mind. I mean, the playing weight is quite low set on these, probably only about 1.5 grams. It's not going to damage the record, so that's it.